panel here for you. All right. Do we have some Game of Thrones fans in the audience? One or two? All right. You guys ready for King Joffrey? A big Tampa welcome to Jack Gleeson.
Hello, thank you for coming.
Welcome back to the Tampa Bay Comic-Con here. This is what, the third panel speaking?
Second. Yeah. Second time's a charm.
Well, cool. All right, so let's jump right in. I know we're going to get lots of questions about Game of Thrones. We know that, but
So I'd like to ask you a couple of other things for a change. Okay. Yeah, just like Matt's other questions.
yeah.
Just like multiplication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. Yeah, you studied the victim side too, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about philosophy. No, I'm just we're talking about that.
How can you actually talk about philosophy? You can't talk about philosophy because all philosophical language is in and of itself like self-destructive.
But you're just talking about. Let's talk about Batman. That was your first role, right?
Yeah.
Batman Begins.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was pretty cool. I mean, I feel like I was so young at the time that I don't really remember a huge amount about it.
Oh,
but I was like 10, I think. You know, and all the drugs they gave me back then. You know, your memory just goes to mush after a while when it's your 6th day drinking on the job. I mean, it was so cool. I mean, how cool is it to be like 10 years old and get to hang out with Batman for a job? And yeah, then it turned out to be a really good movie and the beginning of a really good film series. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
And you did theater work after that?
Yeah, I was kind of doing. Yeah. I mean, I was always kind of doing small theater parts in Dublin, where I'm from, and short films, and then kind of bad feature films and that kind of thing. But yeah, so Game of Thrones kind of came when I was like 17. But before that, yeah, I was just enjoying life as a high school student and acting on the side as a hobby.
So you're kind of doing this as a hobby. How did you get to Game of Thrones?
Just very like normally. Like I just heard. I don't know if my agent is here. Is Jillian here? Maybe she isn't. But I was, you know, just with her since I was like 8 years old, and she runs like this drama school in Dublin, and just went to a random audition that she got me for this thing called Game of Thrones that I hadn't heard of. I hadn't heard of the book series, The Song of Ice and Fire or anything, because I'm an idiot. And yeah, it was like any other audition that you go to, you just learn the lines and go in, and it was 5 minutes, and I did the scene, I think it's in the first episode where I'm kind of trying to be cool in front of Robb Stark and Jon Snow, doing the archery, trying to intimidate them when the Baratheon and the Lannisters first go to Winterfell, and yeah, and then I just got a call that I got the part, so it kind of came out of the blue completely.
So, well, you mentioned books. Did you then go and read the books?
Yeah, well, I read the first one just to kind of get a sense of the world and the character and that kind of thing, and I felt like that was enough. I'm not that dedicated of an actor that I read all of them. But I just don't have the attention span. So, but I did thankfully. I think the first thing I did before I read the first book was like Google the character summary or like book series summary, so I knew like when my character was going to be killed off and the kind of general trajectory of the character. So nothing was a surprise. Some people were like, "So what was it like when you read the script and saw that you died?" It's like, well, I'm not gonna not know. There's like you get fired like on the day. It'd be pretty bad.
Actually, I heard that's happened to a couple of Walking Dead games.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Oh, you're going to geek on this one.
Yeah, goodbye.
Yeah. So let's talk about Joffrey a little bit, because we're going to, I'm sure, get lots of questions here, but I mean, he's really one of the just great villains of TV. I mean, and it's nailed it. I mean, he really pulled off this, this spectacular role to the point where you're one of the most hated fictional characters. It is what it is, right? Ramsay may have taken over for Joffrey now, just, the real bad boy, which who would have thought? Joffrey, right? But what's that like for you? Because clearly you're not like Joffrey in real life.
Well, I don't know, maybe I'm acting right now. Maybe I'm actually a sadistic, meaty part.
Was it hard, and in particular, were there certain scenes? I mean, because some of the scenes were just really, even kind of, over the top. I mean, were some of those hard to do?
I mean, it's funny. It's like it seems so real when you watch the TV show, but if you go to a set, like say one scene, say the scene where I kind of show Sansa her dad's head on a spike. That's a horrible scene, and there's a lot of tension. But a lot of that tension is created through the editing and through a lot of other means. So when you're actually filming, it's say that one scene that, it was like 2-3 minutes, you're filming it over 2-3 days. And so there's not the same kind of tension and drama that you see on TV. So it's not like for the whole day I was being mean to Sophie Turner. It's more like we were just hanging out as friends, and then every hour we'd go and do the scene for 30 seconds and then we'd stop. So it's not as real in real life as it seems on TV.
Yeah. Were there any though that you felt like what we're doing, even though it's not real to you, that you felt, this might be going too far?
I don't think so. I mean, I kind of trusted the writers. I trusted George R. R. Martin's books, and I haven't kept up with the show because I never watched it when I was on the show because it was awkward watching yourself.
Yeah, it's gotta be a little weird.
Yeah, it's weird, especially when you're doing weird stuff as well. So it's kind of just but I've heard from friends or from whoever that there have been some pretty close to the bone scenes where you wonder whether it has gone too far. But as I say, I trust the producers and I trust the creative team in general and the writing team to treat every gruesome or violent scenario with a certain respect or kudos. Where they're not saying, Joffrey emotionally or physically abusing Sansa, that's, he's a great character. You come away from those scenes thinking that he's an awful human being. Yeah. So I don't think they glorify anything in that way. And, the world we live in can be violent and it can be destructive and evil. So to represent that, if you want to create a real show, then you have to create real environments. And sometimes people like Joffrey do the things that he does. And so long as you do it in a way where you come away from the scene kind of hating that character, then I think it's okay. I don't think you come away from any scenes liking Joffrey. So.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think they were successful with that?
Yeah.
So it does have to be weird that a tribute to your ability as an actor is being hated, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it just comes naturally to me.
That's cool. But so. With fan interaction, have you had fans that kind of can't distinguish between the character?
Thankfully not. No, I always get asked this. People seem to think that there are lunatics running around who but everyone's always like, well, maybe there are. Zero, you need to get it into your head. I've been to conventions, met people on the street, whatever, hung out with people who like the show, and not one person out of the thousands of people I've met have ever been in any way weird about me playing Joffrey. Everyone's just been really cool about it. So I think you need to give other people credit that they're not crazy psychopaths. Yeah.
Cool. Well, after your role, you took some time off. You went back to school, finished a degree.
Yeah.
You were at one point. You were thinking about going into academia. Seriously, are you still thinking along those lines?
I mean, not seriously. I mean, I did an undergrad in Dublin, in Trinity College, in philosophy and theology, and if I were to go back, it would probably just be like a nominal thing, like just for a master's. I don't think I'm cut out for the life of an academic. It's kind of like isolating, and you know, you end up kind of getting so deep into a specific subject that you wonder what the relevance is to like real people in real life. You kind of feel like you're just like perpetuating a cyclical thing where, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to say it. Oh my God! Yeah. So, but do you feel like that? Do you feel,
I mean, yes.
But it obviously, like every piece of academia has value in it, and it does contribute.
Yes.
But maybe your ego kind of wants you to think that you want to save the world, whereas like an esoteric journal article about Eastern Egyptian scrolls from yada yada period.
Eastern Egyptian scrolls.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right.
Yeah.
And for me, that was it. That's one of the reasons why I do this. I started doing academic stuff online. Right now.
Yeah, but you can do both. You know, you don't have to just do one thing.
So you then just went back and you really haven't done any other movie roles since then? You've been doing some theater?
Yeah. Well,
movies on bears in space.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Well, when I was in university, I set up a small theater company with my friends. Kind of just by accident, really. We started off just because we had this idea for a play. Kind of, we were in the drama society in university. We had this idea for a play called Monster Dash Clock, and it was about this like evil guy who wanted to live forever, so he replaced every piece of his body with a clock, so that the clocks would just kind of keep going forever, and then he would live forever, and it was all about.
That's cool.
Okay, it's kind of like we try to emulate as much as possible, like the Pixar style of entertaining both adults and kids. But the show we're kind of working on at the moment is called Bears in Space. And it's about two Russian bears who are astronauts, and they're traveling through space, and they get abducted by a space pirate, and it's all about kind of friendship mixed with like kind of campy pulp sci-fi fantasy adventure stuff. So it's a lot of fun, and it's puppets, and you know, it's for kids and it's for adults and it's for everyone. We don't take ourselves seriously. Just a lot of kind of wacky characters like the Mighty Boosh, if you guys know the Mighty Boosh, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, we just try to give people a good time. Yeah,
that's great. So you're doing this, sort of smaller productions like that now. Do you think you might ever get back into doing something more high profile?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I mean,
like if they rebooted Caligula or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be cool. Or someone was like, if they did like a Zelda, I could be Link. Yeah, so I don't know. I actually haven't thought about it that much. I mean, the James Bond producers keep calling me and they say they want me to be the next James Bond. I keep saying, come on, you know, just give me a bit of time, and they say, Jack, we need you, the only person that can pull it off. It gets exhausting trying to like answer their calls, so no, obviously not. Yeah, I haven't thought about it. I mean, yeah, my friends always ask me that. It's like, you know, what would it take? You know, I love, say, Wes Anderson or the Coens or whatever. You know, I love their movies. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of just taking it day by day.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I know we're going to probably have lots of questions. So if you guys want to come up and ask some questions, we have mics here, 3 different ones. So come line up with mics.
You don't have that.
All right, let's do this too, so everybody can get a chance. Let's limit it to 1 question each. Yes.
Like working with big actors who might have had more experience than you, like in a movie?
Yeah, I mean it's incredible, obviously, because you're going in there as a 17-year-old kid who's never been on a big TV show, and I mean, I'm just lucky that everyone, especially the high-profile actors, were just so nice, and you never felt like anyone had a higher status for any reason, or no one had an ego, or were being a diva. Everyone just wants to make a good show. And you know, it's a cliche to say, but you know, you learn from watching massively, especially, you know, with TV, where like TV or film acting, where it's a very specific kind of skill. You really learn on the go, and you try and wing it as much as possible. But to have people like Ian Healy and Peter Dinklage and Charles Dance, and you're acting kind of one-on-one with them, it's crazy. You kind of feel a bit out of your depth. But which is funny, because the character I play is usually kind of trying to be oppressive or asserting himself, and then behind the scenes I'm kind of like, oh my god, I'm freaking out, it's so cool. So yeah, it's a complete privilege, and just a massive learning process.
Was there anyone in particular of the experienced actors that really kind of sort of a mentor figure to you at all?
Well, I mean, not literally, but I mean, I just looked up to Charles Dance, I mean, because he's very tall, mainly, but also because he's just got so much charisma. He's just so cool, and he's just like got this deep voice, and he's so handsome and tall. Such a good actor, and has been in so many amazing movies that, yeah, I just looked up to him a lot. He was really cool.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I have two questions to kind of blend in together.
Just do one, please, if you can. We got two.
Okay, well, obviously you're a very nice guy playing a very bad character. At one point after upon reading the books and character bios, do you think that you were able to truly capture your essence of Joffrey Baratheon? Particular thoughts.
Like at what point through the TV show?
Yeah.
Well, I think the evilness kind of came naturally to me. I suppose what didn't come so naturally was the other side, which some of the directors tried to develop, which was, you know, the kind of his vulnerability as like a kind of a kid or a young teenager that had a kind of a messed up family life and has been just, you know, given all this power at a very young age and would naturally kind of act out in this petulant way. So the evil kind of stuff, I felt like I nailed it from day one. But so it was cool to kind of try and make it less one-dimensional, my performance, and try and have tones of, well, you know, he's an evil guy that does these despicable things, but maybe try to figure out why he does these despicable things. Is he inherently evil, or does he do these things because he wants attention, or because he has too much power at a young age, or because you know, he's acting out these kind of weird dynamics within his own family. So that was a cool thing that I kind of had in the back of my mind as the series went on.
Thank you.
Weird.
Hi, Jack.
Hey, what's up?
My sister still has the biggest crush on.
Okay, sweet. Since yesterday, it hasn't gone down.
Alright, we've had red weddings, we've had purple weddings, and trials. What colorful bad thing is going to happen next?
Oh, maybe like a yellow wedding. Yellow's kind of like a bright, happy color. So maybe there'll be like a yellow wedding, or like even a yellow funeral, where, you know, people are just happy and nothing goes wrong, and it's just a nice time where family members and friends get together and to share in a loved one's kind of experience, and I think that'd be really nice. Yeah.
That sounds like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
One thing, one of your most common question is, what's your worst fan experience? But what's one of your best fan experiences, apart from this con, of course?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it still kind of feels weird to me, but sometimes people come up and they say, well, you know, Game of Thrones really, say, helped me through a bad time, or, you know, it really lifted my spirits when I was low, or it inspired me, or something like that. And even some people say they really felt uplifted by the character of Joffrey, you know, for whatever reason, you know. I don't question their sanity, I'm sure they're lovely people, but yeah, I don't know, but I mean, you know, obviously it's just TV, and it's just a TV show, and it's, you know, but sometimes just a TV show can mean a lot to people, and when you get that feedback, it's really nice. It's cool. Yeah.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Out of everything you've ever been a part of, what's your favorite moment or scene to like film?
Well, I mean, usually I say, like, after I die, and there's a scene when I'm like laid out on a plinth dead, and I'm wearing like a black gown, and I basically just got paid to sleep all day, and that was pretty cool. Like, what more could you ask for? But I mean, a better answer, I suppose, are you know, it's not one specific moment, but it's always fun when there are as many characters and therefore actors in the same scene as possible, because that means you get to hang out with everyone, get to know people, catch up. So the wedding scene that my wedding scene that we filmed in Croatia, there were so many characters in that it was nice. We felt like a little family after the week or so of filming, because we were just spending all day, every day together. And yeah, I mean, those are the things that you take away from things like that. You know, you don't take away like, oh, the awards or whatever. It's like the people you meet. That's kind of nice. That's cool. Hello.
Hi, Jack.
What's up?
I hope the crown that I made you is safe.
It is very safe.
Awesome.
Highly safe.
I wrote down my question so I don't forget. If Robert had been more of a present father and Cersei didn't feed Joffrey's ego before he became king, do you think he would have turned out a little differently, or do you think he was just always born to be awful?
I think it's a good question. I mean, I don't think I have enough knowledge of like developmental psychology, like child psychology to say. I mean, and then it's like a philosophical question, like what is it to be evil? Are you born? I mean, maybe he has some kind of like empathetic like gap where, I don't know, his frontal cortex is like underdeveloped or something, and he can't empathize with people. So maybe there is like a kind of a biological thing that's in his DNA or in his body that makes him unable to experience like just normal human emotions, and that makes him do it. But I definitely think a huge part of like the motivations of his actions are from his family life and his dad and his fake dad, and his, you know, maybe even being a product of incest messes up your frontal cortex as well. I don't know. So I think there are a lot of factors at play. If he was brought up in a nicer environment, I definitely think he would be a far better person and would know right from wrong far better. But because of the way he was brought up, I think he has a pretty bad evaluation of that based on his parents.
Thanks, Jack.
No worries.
It's a bit of a dysfunctional
Very dysfunctional. Yeah, very messed up.
family scene. Weird.
Hi, Jack.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Nice.
So I just would like to preface my question with a big thank you for playing the character of King Joffrey so well. It did bring my family and as well as my friends at work, countless conversations and memes and all that stuff about Joffrey and everything he had done. But who would you like to see on the Iron Throne?
I mean, it's a good question. It's a bad question to ask me because, as I say, I'm not like completely that knowledgeable of the show. But I kind of think someone told me today a really good theory. I don't know if they're here, but they were like maybe like a joint thing between Jon Snow and Daenerys, where Daenerys is really, you know, like the ice and the fire. You know what I mean? So Jon Snow rules the ice snow part, and the other part is for Daenerys. So I think that makes a lot of sense, and it'd be kind of cool. And yeah, well,
Thank you.
no worries.
Maybe not close enough. Boxers or briefs?
I suppose neither. No. I actually don't really know the difference.
Everybody wears boxer briefs these days anyway. Come on.
What? Yeah, maybe a boxer brief. I don't know what the difference between boxers and briefs are, but normal. I don't know. I just buy them in the shop.
Next question.
I don't know how to top that one. Well, in the show, Joffrey's most important relationship is with his mother, Cersei. I was wondering what your favorite moment with Lady Keaty offset was.
Oh yeah, good question. So many nice moments. You know, so much hanging out. She's a mom in her own right, so I kind of felt like there was a kind of an older sister mom dynamic there. So I really liked hanging out with her. There's a tender moment in Croatia when we were doing the wedding scene, the purple wedding, where she like gave me a hand massage. And that was a nice big moment between mother and son. And it was really nice. So yeah, I'd say that moment. Thank you, Nina, for the hand massage.
Hello.
Hello.
So you have a very dry sense of humor. Very akin to. How did your personality as a person mesh with Peter Dinklage's?
Really well, yeah, really well. We got along really well. He's a big fan of The Simpsons. I'm a massive fan of The Simpsons. I mean, the best dynamic is between Peter and Colin Phil, who plays Varys. I mean, obviously their characters are really intertwined, but they're also so fun to hang out with because they just banter. I don't know if you have that phrase here. Banter off each other and just crack jokes and like put each other down, but in the kind of way like brothers do, you know. And they're just a hoot to hang out with. But yeah, Peter has a great sense of humor and yeah, really dry, really funny, and I miss him a lot.
That's cool, that explains why they have so much chemistry on screen as well.
I think they're good friends, yeah.
What's up, Jack?
So,
What would be your most favorite episode in Game of Thrones, and why?
yeah, again, I don't know.
Maybe your favorite one to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool when, from an audience, I don't know, well, there's loads of cool episodes in Game of Thrones, but I think what Game of Thrones maybe is slightly unique in, from judging just in general, is like the big set pieces. You know, I feel like I can't really think, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I suppose I can't really think of the same kind of scale of battle scenes or like, you know, fight scenes that other TV shows have. So when you have massive blowout battles or fights, and they research them so well, you know, they have historians and like war historians, military historians, and you know, directors who are really skilled and they specialize in battle scenes. When you have all those things together with incredible art departments, it creates incredible set pieces. So like the Battle of the Blackwater is the only thing that comes to mind. I'm sure there have been loads of other ones, but that's one that I was involved in that was just on a scale that I had never seen before. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Did you keep any prop as a souvenir?
Well, I mean, I would have liked to have kept everything.
Like a crossbow?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't trust myself in a crossbow. There was one, again, in my the wedding, Purple Wedding, there's a bit, it's actually Sigur Rós. I don't know if anyone knows Sigur Rós, the Icelandic band. They're really, really cool. You should check them out if you haven't heard of them. But I think they were fans of the show and they had a cameo in that scene where they play kind of musical gestures and the character Joffrey gets kind of bored of the singing and he throws their fee, like a bag of coins at them. And the actual coins, like you never ever see this as an audience member, but the coins, each coin was like a real silver coin and it had like my profile etched into it and stuff, like a, you know, like a real monarch would have, you know, like the Queen of England or whatever on the sterling, and that kind of level of detail is indicative of just the incredible work of all the design and art departments, so I had to take one of those. Yeah, just to honor, you know, their skill.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, so given that was such a big and complex show, was there any moment, whether it be filming or backstage, that you were just like, wow, this is so surreal, and like, what was it?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every day. Like, there were a few moments, like say, we filmed a lot in Dubrovnik in Croatia, which, aside from filming there, I just love, it's one of my favorite places to visit. It's just so beautiful. But there's a kind of like a new town and an old town. I wish I knew when the old town was built. When was it built?
Specialties, yeah. See, I got two special ones.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm gonna say, no, I'm not even gonna guess. But it's really old and it's really beautiful and it's really well preserved, and there's a kind of a lead-in part from the new town into the old town where it's just milling with tourists. It's like the New York Times, New York Square. What's it called? Times Square. The Times Square equivalent of Dubrovnik, and it's just always packed. And we closed it off for a day or two to film the kind of mob scene where Joffrey and his entourage get mobbed by a mob. And yes, that was kind of cool, like to feel like you were shutting down like this tourist hub in this beautiful city, and to feel like it was just for you and you got to experience it like almost privately, just with your friends. That was a really, really special moment.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey Jack,
What's up?
so you could pick any character to revive or to kill off, and why?
I think Hodor, like revive. Why not? I always wanted him to end up on the Iron Throne. So, he's kind of bumming me out by dying, and it was such a heartbreaking way to go that I think he deserves to be revived. Reincarnated. Reincarnated as a doorman.
Florida. My fiance got me hooked on your show, not as hooked as she is, but after a couple seasons, I was just looking at her saying, what's wrong with this guy? But you explained how after your time on the series, you got acquainted with how loathsome and how sinister your character was. But was there ever a point where you just read the script and it stood out to you, looked at the director and go, dude, are you serious? I did that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to go back to the Sigur Rós thing at the Purple Wedding, when I throw coins at them, and I was like a huge fan of them. I loved them. I was so excited that they were on the set, let alone that I got to like kind of have a little interaction with them. And so yeah, Joffrey had to kind of throw coins at them, and we began with like fake coins, like rubber coins, and I was kind of like throwing them at their feet, and it didn't look real, so we had to change to like real coins. So I was throwing the real coins at their feet, and then the director was like, it still doesn't look real. You have to hit them on the head with the real coins. I was like, I don't want to do that. They don't treat the actors well. So I had to do it, and I think they actually chose one of the takes for the actual scene where like I genuinely like knocked a real heavy piece of silver against one of the Sigur Rós guys' head, and the reaction of him kind of going like that is like completely real. So that was a moment where I was like, I don't want to do this, but someone's got to hit them on the head. Yeah, exactly.
Hello. Well, as you said, you're like a really sinister, evil character. Like, do people come up to you on the street and like say, fuck you, Joffrey?
They might say that, but with a smile on their face. They'd be like, I hate you so much. So everyone kind of hates the character, but they kind of enjoy hating the character so much that the vitriol that they feel for the character isn't kind of real vitriol. It's like a kind of an entertaining vitriol where they get to have fun with this hate that they have. So they might kind of say those things, but then we have a fun.
That's nice. It's nice to know that you're not a dick in real life.
How far in advance did you know that you were going to die? And did you have any say-so in how it happened? Because I've never read the books, so I don't know how it happens in the books, and if that was like a kind of a starting point for how it happened.
Well, thankfully I knew, yeah. I mean, the first thing I did when I heard I got the role was like instantly look online and be like, Google, when does Joffrey die or whatever. Just because you want to know when you're going to get fired from your job. So a lot of people don't have that luxury. It just comes out of the blue. Whereas if you're an actor, you're in a TV show based on the books, So I didn't know that I would be around for the 3rd season, 4th season, and I mean, I didn't get a say. I mean, I think they were pretty loyal to the books in terms of that scene. I think how they portrayed it on the TV show was books. Apart from, I think in the books, you know, George R. R. Martin describes Joffrey like literally kind of tearing his skin off so that he like exposes his trachea, and like you can see him like literally trying to physically open his throat because it's closing in. So I think they decided not to show that because, I don't know, maybe it was too much. But then some people come up to me and they're like, you know, it wasn't gruesome enough, so I don't know what to tell you guys, I'm sorry.
Real quick, as you brought up George Martin, have you met George Martin? No, obviously you've met him.
He's so nice. He's like so like you'd never expect that he's like this incredibly famous, successful, genius writer. He's just the loveliest, most humble guy. Really kind of giggly and laughy.
He's kind of goofy. I've met him.
Yeah, he's goofy. He's like doesn't take himself seriously, and yeah, he's just the best. Like he's not this serious like genius guy. He's like really fun to be around and doesn't take life or anything too seriously.
Did he have much input on it? Was he around the set much, or just came by every now and then?
Well, I mean, I think he has an executive producer credit, and he writes an episode per season. I actually think he wrote the episode, the Purple Wedding episode. So that's maybe why he was so loyal to the books. I think he's quite involved in a lot of the decisions. I don't know how involved, but I think he turns up to set whenever he wants. I don't think I ever kind of asked him like any questions about my character because I felt like I didn't know enough about it to kind of ask him. But he's so open that if any of the actors wanted to ask him anything, or anyone, any of the creative teams, I'm sure he would have given them like a lot of his time. So he's a lovely man, and yeah, it's incredible to be part of the show.
Cool.
Hi, Jack. I've really enjoyed hating you over the years. I was just wondering, I don't know if your parents watched the show, but how were they with some of the violence, like you torturing the sex maidens and stuff like that?
I kind of think they did watch it. I think my dad kind of enjoyed it. I think my mom watched it because she felt like she had to. So she could not watch the show that her son was in. And yeah, I don't think she liked it. I mean, not necessarily my scenes, but she didn't like all the violence and the sex and stuff. But now I think in the past season or two, she's really gotten into it because she really likes Brienne of Tarth. I think that's her favorite character. So, I think she didn't like it so much, and now she likes it because of Brienne. Yeah. But I don't know what they thought about me being sexually deviant.
I think Six Maidens is about some more. Over here.
Hi. First, you were really brilliant in the role, so please don't stop acting. The second, I'm sorry that the character, the guy who played Ramsay isn't here because this question is really for both of you. Describe the ultimate showdown between Joffrey and Ramsay.
I mean, I think Joffrey deep down is pretty much a coward, so I don't think he'd ever engage in any kind of hand-to-hand combat. So he'd probably get Meryn Trant or Ilan Payne to do his dirty work for him. But then I feel like Ramsay is more intelligent, and he'd anticipate whatever Joffrey would do. So I'd say it would be maybe Ramsay, yeah, just outwitting Joffrey at every single stage, and then Joffrey just losing miserably.
And being eaten by pit bulls, right?
Yeah, something quite gruesome like that I think would happen. I don't think it would end well for Joffrey.
Hi, my question is, what was the most difficult scene for you to film?
I don't know why I keep referring to this scene, but it probably was the Purple Wedding because it's really hard to pretend to die. I don't know, it just is. It's really hard to pretend to choke to make it believable because you're not choking. But you have to pretend like you're choking to try and convince people that you're choking when you're not. So that's tricky. You have to act like you're choking, right? Yeah, so that was difficult, and there was a few long days of me literally just kind of going like that. So that was just exhausting physically, and also you kind of want to do the character justice and the scene justice, and you want, as I say, you just want it to be believable. The worst, we've all seen really bad death scenes where the actors just aren't believable, and you're that's just awful. Like I don't believe for a second that you're dying. But thankfully there was loads of really cool like after effects, like CGI and special effects makeup that they did that really kind of helped it along. So that was probably the most difficult in terms of acting to do. But hopefully it was
good. A little bit of like extra in the trachea.
Oh my god. I mean, I thought that would be cool, but yeah.
All right, we're running low, so let's go real fast and we'll get a couple more in.
Okay, so like a true addict of the show, I started rewatching it, and going from the scenes at the end where you died and you were pretty much like an evil, terrible human, and going from when you were still a child, so I'm the same age, but you were just a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
When do you think the transition occurred?
I think it's a really good question. Like for instance, again in that final scene, I remember. I think the real transition happened around the wedding. I remember the director Alex Graves kind of saying for the first time, you know, don't act like a kid, act like you're a king, act like you're a man. Imagine Charles Dance, who's this, you know, his aura is just so powerful and controlled. So that was the first time the director kind of told me to try and grow up a bit as the performance and not be so kind of bratty and try and be more powerful and maybe masculine or something like that. And yeah, so that was tricky as well for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, we're out of time, but if you go real fast, we'll get one more.
This is actually my first question because mine was asked, but Joffrey is technically classified as Baratheon, but he's actually a Lannister. What Game of Thrones house would you be in real life?
I don't know, like, does Hodor have a house?